In this video, what I'd like to step through is the creation of a new project in Ampla. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new project and start the Ampla service and run in demo mode, which will give us 8 hours of normal operation using Ampla. After I create the project, what I'll be doing is just stepping through the configuration environment and looking at the typical things that we would look at when we start a project. So I've created the project already with the dialog box here that pops up, and I've named the project Ampla Demo. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll start that service, and it takes a little moment for that to start. We can also set that true, so when the OS starts, the Ampla service will start by default. Okay, so this is grayed out whilst it's starting, but obviously once it gets up and running, the stop service button will be highlighted. So what we can do is we can minimize that, and as you can see there, it has now started. This is the Ampla icon, so we use this to quickly check if the Ampla service is running. And from this icon we can also launch down here the Ampla Studio environment, as well as the Service Manager, which is what we just looked at, as well as the web clients or the thick client for Ampla as well. We can also have a look at diagnostics for Ampla, and also have a look at the version that we're running, and we can also stop and start the service here as well. Okay, so now we're in Ampla Studio here, which I'd previously opened. What we'll see here is that the project will load in Ampla Studio, and you can see here that I'll just resize some windows and clear these windows. So what you can see here is that the project by default opens, and there's no configuration in here. So you can see that these are all default settings, nothing new in here other than the default settings. System config has all the default information and parameters in here, categories and parameters, sorry. And then there's no equipment hierarchy, so there's no configuration essentially. So the first thing that we'll do in here was we'll go and create for ourselves an enterprise folder, which is typically what you would do with Ampla at the very top. So we create our enterprise, and then within the enterprise we go and create a site. So if you've got a large business and it has multiple sites, you're going to go in here and create multiple sites within the enterprise, which is logical, and I'll just save that. And then inside of the site, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create where am I going? I'm going to create an area, and that might be my plant area. So this here would be where we would have the enterprise, the site, and then we might have, say a mining operation, we might have a surface or underground areas, and then within those areas we might have, crushing or milling or grinding or material handling or something like that, areas within there. You can see that also in the hierarchy that there's quite a bit of configuration items, and a lot of these are related to inventory configuration in Ampla. That's what these particular items are, if you're not familiar with them as well. So I'll save that. Okay, so now what I've got is I've got an enterprise, my site, and my plant. Now what I want is I want that plant to be at the top. I want to get rid of these two items and just move them down out of the way. So I'm going to just change their display order index. So I'm going to just bump them up, move their display order group up, which puts them down the list. So this is how we can control the order of items in Ampla Studio. So you can see that the plant item has a display order index of 5. These items have 6. So that means that the items with 5 will sit above those, and that's how we can change that sort order in here. Okay, so inside of our plant, what I will do in this instance is I just want to configure some reporting points, and I'm going to hook those up to some simulation data to provide examples of how they can be set up, and eventually we'll have a look at the information that's to be produced. So I'll look at that in a later video. Okay, so that was creation of a project from the Service Manager, setting up the top level nodes in the hierarchy, and just getting started. Thanks for watching.